a lot of times we have to beg for deals. This is the best time of year where we kind of don't have to beg for anything. If they want our business, they kind of start having to give us a little bit more of what we want. Hey guys, welcome to another quick little chit chat episode of LJ's Garage. Yes, I know we're not in a garage, and I know this isn't the most fancy setup, so that's why I got the glasses on today. So hear me out. There's a lot of finance incentives and deals and all sorts of stuff going on in the month of April. They all started kind of around March, and if you have been living under a rock, then the reason is because of this coronavirus or COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, has kind of been affecting all the industries from restaurants to breweries to zoos to everything where people go normally and congregate in large gatherings. Even the places that people go, like little coffee shops, to kind of get out and socialize, everything is pretty much impacted. You've got all sorts of companies that are going under, a lot of places won't survive, and so the auto industry, just like many other places, is actually facing a lot of struggle because of such. And so their way to kind of pull you guys in, and pull me in even, is to offer all these finance deals, because not all of us are cash buyers. And so what can they do to lure us other than kind of, lower interest rates, longer terms, better cash back opportunities? There's all sorts of deals and incentives going around. And I'm not saying that any are good, any are bad. But what you got to do is break down your financial situation and figure out if it's a strategic time for you to get your hands on a new car. I'm a used car buyer, through and through, but I do support buying new if you can afford it, because some people just don't like their seats smelling like other people's butts. So if you're not one of them and you want something nice and new, maybe worthwhile. Before I get into all the car deals and some of that topic, I want to touch on one thing really quick. And that's if you're someone that's staying at home but not fortunate enough to be still receiving a paycheck. You may be working at a bar and all the bars are shut down, so bartending just isn't going to happen right now. If you're one of those folks and you're facing some sort of hardship, definitely reach out to the banks, because a lot of them are doing incentives where they'll defer your payments for, up to 120 days, 90 days, whatever it is, but they won't help you if you don't reach out to them, because not everyone's going through a hardship right now. The other thing is car insurance companies. Some people may be able to make the car payment but not their car insurance, and if you don't want to have that lapse or any hiccups with that, because you definitely don't want to be on the road without such, reach out to them, because certain places like USAA, for me, they're doing a discount on the next couple months bills, whatever it may be. There's all sorts of different things that the lenders and insurance companies are doing to help out people during this time, because there's very few people that aren't affected by this. And if somehow you manage to be one of those people, good for you. But the rest of us, whether it be just staying at home or having to make major life changes, are impacted by it. So I know what you're saying. If I am going through a hardship, LJ, why on earth would I possibly want to think about getting a new car? This can't be the right time. Well, you're right. For those of you that are going through a hardship, that's the biggest thing. Don't get pulled into these finance deals, because you don't have to worry about these payments for 3 months. The other bad thing is if you're in a financial situation and you don't have the best credit or the best income track record, you may end up getting the deferred payments, which are great, but you may miss out on the 0% interest, which, that's the thing, is that they may defer the payments, but your interest still accrues. And so then you're stuck upside down even further, because everyone knows when you buy a new car, you're the first one to take that major hit for depreciation. So if you take that depreciation hit, plus you're accruing interest while you're not making payments, now you're really upside down on this car. So if it's something you plan to keep for the next 6-7 years, sure. But if you're someone that's like, after 2 years, I don't want this anymore, you may not have that option, because you bought a brand new car and now you're $5,000, $6,000 upside down starting off, and it's going to take you 2-3 years to finally get back to where you're breaking even on that car, unless you're throwing major payments at it when things kind of return back to normal. And this one is a message for my friends out there that like to, play the money game, finesse a little bit, work some magic. And you may be saying, hey, well, what if I'm in a struggle right now, but before this struggle gets really, really bad, let me go ahead and buy a new car, defer payments, and then give me a couple months to figure out what I can do to make those payments later on. And I know I'm not the person to tell you that's a bad plan, but if you're having trouble making payments right now and you take on more than you can handle, 3 months from now, you could roll dice and you could end up, in a way better situation, and you just came out on top with a great car deal, 0% interest for, 50 plus months. And that might be great, but you could also roll the dice and end up in a very bad situation where you've got a huge car payment and things don't return back to normal as fast as we want them to. And next thing you know, you're now in a world of hurt because you just bought a new car and now you have to pay for the insurance on the car, can't pay that, and things just take a little bit longer to get back to normal. So you got to be really, really careful. And I don't want to see anyone end up in this trap of saying, this is a great deal, now is the time to strike. You strike, and then you end up in a bad situation. I know that Hyundai and Genesis, maybe even Kia, I know they have their job loss program, and so if you buy a new car and you lose your job, they'll cover up to like 6 months worth of car payments. That's a pretty sweet deal. So if you are in that situation and you did recently buy a car from them, you may want to check into that. There's also Honda and Acura. I know they've got they're waiving late fees and helping people with all that. They've got their deferment situations that are available to you guys to take advantage of. There's all different stuff that's out there. I don't have all the details, but I have done a little bit of research and I found a couple good programs out there. For those of us that lease cars, you know, there are options for us as well. So let's say you have a lease that is getting ready to end, but right now is not a good time for you to go car shop. So a lot of the dealerships aren't open. They may be doing appointment only, or they may have super, super tight hours, limited operation basically. And that's kind of the normal for a lot of businesses right now. So you have a lease that's getting ready to expire or it's expiring. A lot of them are doing extensions. And so for no cost, no troubles really, they're giving you a couple months to wait for things to get back to normal before you decide what you're gonna do with the lease that you're currently driving. It's a super helpful thing that they're doing, and it's one of the many ways that a lot of the car dealerships and manufacturers are doing their best to kind of help us out in the automotive community. And it's kind of hard not to take advantage of a lot of these programs, but before you jump on them, because they sound so tempting, make sure you do a little bit of research, make sure you figure out what you can and can't afford. And what I want you guys to do is down in the comment section below, if you know any other tips, things going on right now. A really big bank that I know that's offering a lot of incentives right now is Fifth Third Bank. I know that they have loan deferments going on right now for up to 90 days. So if you guys have anything that you would like to add, drop them down in the comment section below before I get into talking about some of these incentives that are running around, you know, like $2,000 off of a brand new 2020 Supra. There's all sorts of different deals, but in the meantime, let's help each other out by passing on some of the good tidbits that we've managed to kind of scramble up and gather so that nobody has to lose their car, or if you found out that some deal is kind of a little bit shady and not quite what it's, you know, supposed to be, make sure you drop that and share that information so we can all be educated consumers. We already know that Ford's got some really good deals. We know that GM's got some really good deals. So you get like a Buick right now, 0% financing, 72 months. That's pretty hard to beat. Even if you're not a Buick lover and you need a SUV, might as well go shopping a little bit, maybe. 0%, it could be worth it. BMW also has some deals on some of their cars, 0% financing for up to like 63 months. Not as lucrative and crazy, but it's still a deal to get people through the doors. And if you got your eyes on an i3, I know they've got plenty of deals going on that. Not that I would ever buy an i3, but those of you that want to go more electric, that might be a good option. GMC's got some good deals going on. I would love a brand new Sierra 1500, but that's just me. Toyota's on the list, 0% financing for 60 months on a lot of their SUVs. I always support Toyota. Of course, you got Kia on the list, 0% financing for 66 months. Subaru, Nissan, they're also on the list. And then Nissan's also doing cash back incentives. So you can get $1,000 back, $2,000 back on certain models. And not only that, this is kind of like a nationwide deal, but if you go to your local dealership, they may actually do better than some of the things that I'm talking about. And right now, it's kind of a buyer's market. So if you want a car, you can pretty much walk in, because I doubt many people are walking into these dealerships trying to buy a car right now. So the negotiation is in your hands. And this is the time to really show these salesmen a thing or two about how we negotiate to get the best deals, because the ball's in our court. And usually that's not the case. A lot of times we have to beg for deals. This is the best time of year where we kind of don't have to beg for anything. If they want our business, they kind of start having to give us a little bit more of what we want. So now I'm not saying to walk in there and, you know, beat your chest and tell them, hey, I want this car for $10,000 off, take it or leave it, because they'll probably tell you, okay, bye. and escort you, hand sanitize, clean their hands, and never see you again. But now is the time to walk in and say, hey, I saw this car on your lot, you've had it for a while, I think it's worth this much, this is how much I'm willing to spend, this is what I have to trade in, or this is how much I have to put down. If you're someone that has bought a car recently, let me know down in the comment section below as well how that went for you, if you were able to save, or if you kind of just gave the dealership what they wanted, which is okay too. Some people don't negotiate. They say, hey, if this is what you want, $15,000 for this car, I'll give you $15,000, shake hands, and they move on. Some people don't care. So I'd like to know if you guys are buying cars right now, what you ended up buying, why. Yeah, share some of those stories with me. But until next time, guys, make smart decisions and stay educated, be better consumers, and most importantly, make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and stay sane.